Good morning.
Monday madness. Monday madness. Freaking out because I'm not here tomorrow and I've got a list of things to do longer than my Vera Wang. Kate would argue that, I think.
I'm saying nothing.
Yeah. I hope she wouldn't. I hope I'm the guy she tells all her girlfriends about. It's like that. They know it's crap because I'm only this tall. Oh!
We've set the level immediately.
I know. I'm excited about riding my bike and I'm also absolutely papping myself that I have so much to do and I'm not going to get it all done.
Yeah.
But, on with the journey. We got an intro to get through, haven't we?
I think so.
Let's do it! In the words of Jim Carrey as Starship Enterprise Captain. This week's video is kindly sponsored by Carly.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. So, enjoy the video. And if you want to buy one, because we'll run you through what the little tool does, smash the button below. So we get asked quite a bit what works on these vehicles, what's good for like home mechanics or home enthusiasts. And we appreciate that obviously it's difficult to go out and spend a sort of, you know, factory diagnostics are just so expensive, but also even keeping up to date with the health of your car, or you get a warning light on bits and pieces like that, you know, you're paying garage money, you're paying me to plug into it. So we thought we'd have a little look-see. I've downloaded the app and I've started my account. We're going to select a new vehicle, Audi, and we're just going to hit connect. So we've got a few different bits and pieces we can do. We can customize, we can do a used car check, or we can do diagnostics. Let's go into Diag, check for issues, show results. So we've got 11 issues across 19 ECUs, and there's a smart mechanic guide for 5 of them. So we've got one issue in engine, solenoid motor, bearing left. Fuel supply sender, it is in for that. So it's in for number 2 fuel level sender, so that's quite interesting. Yeah, it gives you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
166,000 kilometers, 11 issues, checks needed. Let's go to coding, let's see what that'll do. The good thing about this is it's very user friendly. Like a lot of the tools we use, you've got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've got to, whereas that, like look at that, it just said get help and it took you to an internet page.
Sure.
And said, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's quite intuitive.
Right, so what will it let us change then? So look, it'll even back up the coding. So if you mess it up, you can refer back to what it was originally. Not even factory diagnostics does that. You've got to write it down on a bit of paper. So it's quite a neat little function because it is easy to make mistakes. We all do it. So at least this way you've got the security of, right, selective central lock-in. So that will let you do one door or both doors. Continue window function when door is open, unlock doors when turned off, lock vehicle at 15 kilometers an hour, tilt mirror in reverse, comfort functions on the key fob, so it'll open or shut your windows on your key fob. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you can unlock features on your car.
Yeah. To go and do those in adaptation channels in factory diag, you'd have to know what the adaptation channels are.
Yeah.
Whereas this is already sort of right, so you've got daytime running lights on and off, front fog lights, turn signals as a parking light, one touch turns, headlight cleaning. Lots of cool little functions you can play with there. You can even sit there and look at your live data. For a home mechanic or an enthusiast,
Yeah.
I can't think of another little tool with the way everything's gone so much now, where it's all electronics based. You know, you're not jumping under your bonnet to adjust your points and twiddle with your air mixture screw and your carburetor. Everything is so electronics heavy that even understanding the fault codes, because having a warning light coming on is really scary, especially it's different when you're in the trade. And I do take it for granted that I can just come in and plug my car in, but even from a wife's point of view, when a TPMS light comes on, that's a big deal. That's scary. So an affordable little tool that you can keep in your glove box, you know, and you can also play with bits and pieces. Oh, you can't hurt it. You can go, oh well, I'll turn my DRLs on. I'll turn my DRLs off. Diagnostics now is such a massive part of the game, or having a tool that can communicate with cars. Such that we've invested so much money for equipment to do our job properly. And that little tool on this Audi, for the price that is, does exactly what my factory diagnostics does. Does exactly what. And I'm sat in a car park, chatting to a camera, doing it. Do you know what I mean? There's no big lead hanging out of the window. I'm not plugged into mains. So what an amazing little tool. So obviously the majority of what we do is V10 Lambos, R8s, bits and pieces like that. If you do want one, then hit the link below. And yeah, I think thanks so much to Carly for sort of sending it out and let's have a play with it, because that's a cool little tool, that. Mate, that's not bad, is it?
That's good.
That's mint.
With that. Yep.
Look at it. Pretty little thing. And you can literally do this. Done.
Job done.
Job done. So there's two around behind you that we're sort of halfway through, but we're on and off ramps because we're Phil. So we got Phil's is ready to go. Mitch finished that Friday. And then there's one there that we're just finishing off a list of jobs.
Now,
we get asked, I was just about to say the same thing. We get asked loads, what is that red pickup truck? It is nothing to do with me. It is a heap of 70-year-old crap, if you ask me. But it is my landlord's truck. And it has been sat there for forever.
yep.
What are they called? C10s? The only way you can make that cool is if you put a V10 in it. V10, twin turbo, manual gearbox, and then just like, but yeah, it's John's next door. He started restoring it and then it got parked there and it never got touched. So nothing to do with me. That bit is nothing to do with me. The messy bit is nothing to do with me. This is to do with me. This messy bit. All right, you. Okay, now. I don't know. So, S8.
Now.
Not quite the Ronin S8, is it? The
No.
Ronin S8 was the series before.
Is that the D2?
Yeah, the V8 one. This is the V10 one.
D3. But this has got everything on it.
Yeah, this is loaded, this is. And it's got, keeps coming out of error code for running lean. So we've smoke tested it, found a couple of air leaks. So Michal is on with that.
What would you say to somebody who's thinking of getting one of these? I love that,
Yeah, it's cool.
but it also scares me.
It probably doesn't scare me as much as a RS6.
Okay.
It's still engine out for everything, but at least half the things that go wrong on an RS6 are not on those, like turbos.
Yes.
So
These are more electrical stuff.
yeah, like MMI goes down, and but it is pretty baller. It's still still an A6 engine bay, so it's still tight as hell to do anything.
Yeah.
So as long as cambridge seals aren't leaking, then you're all right, really. But we done an S6 last week, didn't we? That had cambridge seals leaking. So yeah, it is nice. It's loaded. It's got everything on it. So Matt's doing exhaust on a 458.
Very nice.
So we've had some studdings issues, which are completely typical on a prancing pony. You can see if you jump in there, look. You can see we are deep in the engine. And because we're in a litigation culture now where you're not allowed to do anything, we've just taken them off and put them back on. Honest. It's all standard.
Yes.
It's OEM replacement. So yeah, it's already got Novatec rear.
Yeah.
And Matt's just had manifolds off. So we put them back on, that's all right. So yeah,
Lovely.
I like a 458.
Yeah, I like a
458 or 488?
458.
Would you?
Yeah.
Even for track work?
Yeah, I prefer them.
458s have a lot, 488s have a lot of like oil leaks now, don't they? And turbo failures.
They did start to. They're pretty good. But this is more.
Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it screams.
Can't beat it NAV8. I put a body kit on my Skyline.
What?
I didn't really. So that's in for Jord.
That is
Pretty Larry.
pretty cool. It's a Nismo.
Pretty Larry.
It's a Nismo. There's another one.
Yep. Just got to get on with my one now. Just waiting. Well, still waiting on I can't find a start charge loom, so I think I'm just gonna have to make one.
Yeah.
And then, have you seen Deegan's bike? What George's done? Mate, how trick is that?
Look at that. So here's his.
Yeah, so George got no rear shock in at the minute, so he's had rear shock rebuilt. And then that's his
There's
lads.
a little baby one.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
It's trick, isn't it?
Yeah. We should have got you riding that in.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
intro.
If he was here, I would have asked him, but.
That is a bit special. I like that.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah. And these are still going some serious cash. I just had a quick look on Auto Trader.
Yeah.
120,
Mate.
150.
Yeah, some of them are silly. The GTRs just are silly money, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So McLaren behind you. I guess that's
still waiting on. Yeah, so just waiting on the heads. Obviously, the guides have been a bit of a pickle, but that'll be okay. Hopefully, it'll turn up this week. Then we can start putting heads back together. So this is the difficulty we see, where we do so much big project work. The idea always was to have two lads, one long-term ramp and one short-term ramp. Yeah. And at the minute now, everything's long-term. So that's been, well, you can go back and look on the videos how long that's been sat there, since Christmas, yeah? And then that thing's been sat, that's got to come off that ramp this week. So when Carl's back, there's a job for him to start getting on with, so that's got to come off. We're just gonna have to push it off a ramp for the time being.
The Skoda?
Yeah. But we're nearly there. We just, this is a problem when factories are involved, because it is a factory job. The bureaucracy gets a little bit silly.
Yes.
But it'd be cool. It'd be good when it's done.
Can I just say, look at that.
Looks like
a little cutout.
Looks like a face.
What else then, dude?
In the middle of putting, or finishing off covers, going back on DCT for JM. So they're coming to get that Wednesday. That's the sort of the panic almost, because that's got to be finished, because I fly early tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So that's got to be in a place tonight where it's done, basically. So I was in yesterday, I did Friday, I did Saturday, I was in yesterday. Yeah, I worked last night for a couple hours, so Sunday night, and then we'll get cracking now, so. Yeah, it's okay, we're getting there, and our new big announcement.
Yes.
I've forgotten the date.
Right, cut.
I remember the date. Monday the 25th of March. I did put it out on Instagram last week. So we've finally nailed down Algani Fagani. That didn't even make any sense, that nickname.
Al Fagani.
Al Fagani.
Mr. 44 Teeth himself.
Yeah, Al Fagan. So we are going to do a live interview, a live podcast, a sit and jibber jabber kind of deal at Podium Place in Newbury on the 25th of March, which is a Monday. So tickets, by the time this comes out, tickets will be available on Podium's Eventbrite site, link below. Hit our socials as well, because you can buy tickets on there. So it's 30 pounds for a ticket. Doors will open at 6:30. We get the interview gets going about 7:30 for an hour, then we have a half-hour break, and then we'll do 9 till 10, finish about 10 o'clock. The simulators will be open, but you pay as you go. So Podium will run those. You can have going to simulators. There's 120 tickets, and it will literally be a chat about how it feels to throw bikes at an air fence. So I don't think many people know that Al actually proper is a fast lad. He raced in British Superbikes, so we'll go through that. I want to talk to him about how 44 Teeth came about, how we found racing last year. So yeah, we'll just start chatting and see where it goes, really. And then in the interlude, in the half-hour break, we'll put a bucket out and everyone can put some questions in, and we'll do a bit of questions. But we're going to film it for the channel, I think, as well, aren't we? So
that's the plan, yeah.
I'll be there, Al will be there, Davlar will be there. There'll be coffees and there's a bar there, so you can get yourself a drink, and you can park on site. So it'll be a grand evening.
It will be a grand evening out, yes.
So yeah, it'll be a laugh, because the lad is as mad as a box of frogs. and what you see on his videos is Al, isn't it? You know him, I know him.
Yeah.
He's just mental. So it'd be good to have him the other side of it almost, because everything we hear is him leading, isn't it? It's not, I don't mean lead, but like it's always his media, his market, his interviews, or him chatting. So it'll be interesting to hear have him on the other side of it, really. But yeah, it'll be quite good. It is a series we're trying to do with Podium, so it's called On the Podium with 44 Teeth's Al Fagan, and we want to try and get some other people involved as well, don't we? So we've got some names up our sleeve. If
there's anyone that you guys would like to see,
let
us know in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments. It's a ticketed event, so that's the point of it. It's obviously John's a friend, and he started off as a client, he's a friend, and that's his place. So just trying to link up. It's something me and you have wanted to do for a while as well, isn't it? Sort of that podcast thing.
Yeah.
A friend of ours, Ben, has done it and gone and bought a van and done Road to Success, and he's gone that way, which we've been in. But I think this way with Podium, I think just gives us a little bit of a different angle. So over 12s are allowed. Just, it's obviously bikes and stuff, but just language. So as long as your kid's fine with a little bit of jiffy.
The odd F-bomb.
Yeah.
Drink, take, house, girls.
Then, you know, everyone's welcome. Al's got a huge following. It is a huge following. And bike stuff is quite cult following as well. So, but then you might enjoy it from our side of it. So we'll get Al to push it out as well. But yeah, it'd be good.
Looking forward to it.
It'd be a laugh. It will literally be, what's the motorcycle equivalent of a train wreck? Biking an air fence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One big high side?
Yeah, pretty much. So, like Johnny Ray at Imola. Johnny Ray crashed at Imola one year on his Honda, got up and was looking for his bike, and he'd put it over the fence. It was down the bank. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting, it'd be a laugh. I don't know whether I need to be sober for it though. Is it gonna be?
Oh, you see, this is the thing. We might have to stay over.
Yeah. So yes, links below. We'll run it on our socials anyway, so you'll be able to see loads of it. But yeah, it'll be a laugh.
Good.
I think we've got some questions somewhere, haven't we?
Let's go and have a look.
Let's go and dig them out, because I've got some lads to jump on a dyno, and
mate.
we'll see it for Question Corner.
Do it.
Welcome to Question Corner. Is it too noisy with a heater on, do you think?
Pardon?
Yeah. Keeps me warm though. Keeps me tootsies warm. Right, some questions from Fraz_H. Considering how quick the stockers are, is there still a place for superbikes at the TT? That's quite an interesting one. I would say yes. I thought this year, after Hickey done a 136 on his stocker in the... Oh, that's a good question. I think he did it in a stock race, didn't he? Because then I thought he'd use his stocker in a senior, but he went to his superbike. I think the good thing about the superbikes is it is sort of like the senior is, if you've won a senior, that's a massive deal. So seeing the big bikes out, like the proper hooligan bikes out in the superbikes, is good. But being honest, there's probably only 10 proper superbikes on the grid, if that. You go FHO, well, the top three lads, so Hickey, Dino and Michael Dunlop, whatever they run's going to be a superbike. Then a couple then. James Hilliers was a superbike. Who else? DJ normally runs a good out of a good superbike team. So only the top sort of maybe 10 lads are going to be on a proper superbike. Everybody else really would probably be on their stocker. So it's like when you go, so say NG racing that I go to, they do the superbike race and then they do what's called an open race. So essentially, the superbike is anything goes, kind of. So I think it will stay, but it is quite an interesting question. Joel the Bear Free, Question Corner. Great content, especially engine builds. I loved your last video when you looked like Mario coming out of a large pipe. I can't remember that. I currently own an Evo 8. I'm considering a change, possible R35 GTO, although also considering a B58. I would probably go Supra. Would you have a Supra over an R35? A Supra over an R35? Wow. The new one? Would you not? Not a chance. Matt says not a chance. What would you replace your Evo 8 with? No, your 9. This guy's got an Evo 8 and he's thinking either an R35 or B58.
Not B58, they're boring.
Matt says they're boring. B58s.
If you look on the Evo pages, everyone goes Evo R35, then back to an Evo.
Yeah.
Just bounce between them.
Yeah. That's hard because that is a budgetary question. How much money you got to spend?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I don't know. If you were going to go out of an Evo 8 and you don't really drive it that often, then I would probably put it into something you can invest money in. So maybe like a 33 GTR, or it all depends, mate. That's quite. I really like the new Supras, the new Supras. I just don't like auto gearboxes, but I think they come with a manual now, so that might tickle my fancy a bit. But 35 GTR has never been my bag really, so I wouldn't say one of them. MCL Stormtrooper. Hey, hi Ricky, when you run a car on a dyno, does intake air temp make much of a difference? I had my 765 done this past summer in Charlotte, 743 at the wheels and basically stock, and the intake air degree was 205 degrees Fahrenheit. Minus 30 is roughly 170, divided by 2. Shit, that's high. I would think if IAT was 105, it would make a fair bit more horsepower. Is it worthwhile chasing down a way to reduce intake air temp? I've been doing a bit of research into how I could get the intercoolers to work better. My biggest issue is having a room to work with. Yes, intake air temp is a killer, especially on turbo cars, because it massively affects air density. So the colder you can get your intake air temp, the better. It might be worth chatting to. We've got a set of CSF coolers for a 720. I don't know whether they do any for 765. I'd also look at divorcing your charge coolers, because your charge cooler circuit, I haven't had a 765 charge cooler, I haven't done a 765, but if it's like the others, then it's linked to like the clutch coolant as well. So I would divorce that, maybe run a front rad for your intake for your charge coolers. But basically that is the massive killer on the twin turbo stuff, is the second we get intake air temp, 10 degrees can be 20-30 horsepower easy peasy.
Wow.
So yeah, massive thing. If you can address that, that's huge. Even things like, all right, I know the turbo intake pipes, some companies do them in metal or titanium, which is good, but then you need to keep heat out of them because they sit in the engine bay. So do everything you can to keep heat out of the intake air temp, whether that's ceramic coating, heat shields, wrap, reflective tape wrap. We do loads of stuff like that when we do the big builds on the 720s, just to keep intake air temps down, because it's massive. Dynos are harder as well because the airflow is different in a dyno. Doesn't matter how good your cell is, you don't have the same sort of dynamic airflow through the car pulling the heat out. So just because you throw in cold air at the front of it doesn't mean you've got that sort of negative pressure behind the car sucking the heat out. So I would, if I was getting that sort of intake air temp on the dyno, I would go and log it on the road and see what you're getting, and then you can kind of work it backwards. Jay Gill, hi Ricky, I have a question. I own a Mark 5 GTI Pirelli and I'm having some problems with the AC. I've had a new condenser on it due to it having a hole in. I think they regassed with the machine, said low side pressure too high. The compressor doesn't kick in, if that helps. Okay, so the first question is, does it hold pressure? The second thing is if it's filled with the right amount of gas and you've got the gauges on and you turn the compressor, you turn the AC system on, is the control unit seeing the pressure switch come in? So that is what switched the compressor on. In VCDS, it will give you a compressor shutdown code, so it tells you why it's off, whether that's external engine, gas pressure, condenser temperature, stuff like that. If it's all okay and it's just not running, then you could try driving the compressor solenoid separately and see if that helps. If that doesn't help, then it's probably compressor, because what happens is when a condenser gets a leak and it blows the gas out, the gas is what suspends the lubrication oil, and that's what carries the oil around the system. So the second you drop the gas, the oil falls out of suspension, and then the compressor's got no oil in it, basically. So I would check that. James Sharples, Ricky, did you fart at 36 minutes and 29 seconds? No, I did not. That was perfect timing for when I moved on the toolbox and it creaked. So no, I didn't.
That was the TT video,
Was,
was it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Was, that was the update last week when I sat on George Bay.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, because when I went back and watched it, it does genuinely look like that. But no, I did not. I'm a polite boy. Ali Cannon, maybe already asked, but what is a personal preference on fuel to use? Say when it comes to V-Power, Momentum or SO? Is there not much in it? PS, love the channel, keep smashing it. On a dyno, some people go crazy over it and say, yeah, Momentum's this, or V-Power's that, or SO's that. When I go racing, I only take V-Power. Just because habit maybe, but a lot of what I've done in the past has always been on V-Power. So when we do the twin turbo stuff, it's always V-Power. When we ask customers to come in for dyno, it is always V-Power. That's not saying it's because it's better than Momentum or SO or anything, but I kind of know where I am with it. Also, go to a Shell station, or you could go and buy V-Power from a country backstreet garage and you don't know that the V-Power has been sat in the tanks for ages because they don't get much throughput. So I would say if you run a highly strung car or you're going to dyno, go to a Tesco, an SO or a Shell garage that sees a lot of throughput, because then you know you're getting fresh fuel.
Yeah, good
So
shout.
that would be my advice. I wouldn't sit here, if you turned up to me and said, oh yeah, I've got Momentum 99 in, I'm not turning you away to drain your tank down and put Shell in. And I know some places do that. Honestly, if there's a problem with the fuel, you'll normally tell straight away. So my advice would be, any of those three is good. My personal preference is Shell. Like I say, I race on that, and I'm not branded, I'm not sponsored, I'm not anything by them. It's just my experience when we used to do all the racing back in the day, when we used to set up race bikes, when we used to set up race cars, it was always on that. We've also got Shell down the road. I know it's consistent, but go to a petrol station that has a lot of throughput. You don't want to be going to, a place that sees 3 customers a month.
So there we go.
There we go. So this week's big announcement is Al Fagan is coming to see us on the 25th of March. So yeah, get your tickets. And I can't wait to see you all there.
Hey.
And throw it somewhere, but
Right.
I better not. So smash buttons. There's no, rant corner this week. Keep my soapbox put away. I don't want to be negative before I go to Spain.
Exactly.
So yeah, drop some questions below. Let us know what we did wrong. I would be interested to hear from someone who has got a B58 Super and what they think, because everybody always goes, oh yeah, it's amazing, but it'd be good to hear some real world stuff. And I don't know what we're doing Friday because I'm not here. I might try and send you some videos while I'm away.
Yep.
Or you can put something together.
That'll work.
But we shall see what is what, and if I don't see it for a week, I see it for a window. Laters.